Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Season 7 of the CWL. Tonight will be our coverage of the third week in the first division as Solaris Invicta get ready to take on Peachfish Gaming in a 2-game set. Here to bring us across the halfway mark for this season, my name is Crewman44. I am joined in the CWL studio by Zathos for tonight's action. Zathos, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I love being back in the CWL. It feels like home to me, Crewman. It's been so long since I've been here, all the European stuff, all the UKL calling me away. However, it's good to be back, and it's good to be back for such an important game of Solaris Invicta versus Peachfish Gaming, because you said before, we're halfway through the season, Solaris Invicta are most likely going to be in that top 3. Remember, the top 3, you're able to get yourself to the finals, get yourself to the playoff contentions, compared to Peachfish Gaming, which have had some issues going only 1 and 3 in their first 3 series. So I really would like to see a little bit more from them, and they really need to turn their season around now to have any chance to get into top 3.
Yeah, absolutely, Zathos. Not terribly long the season here in the Cobalt Wins League, only 5 weeks, so it's really not too much time that these teams have to sort of refine their play styles and identify what works best for them. You kind of have to be thinking on your feet a lot here in order to try and get yourself in that top 3 position to extend that season a little bit further. So, as you're saying, definitely an important game tonight, particularly for Peachfish Gaming, who really do need to start picking up those wins to get themselves towards that top half of the standings. We're into the draft, though, for game number 1. Peachfish Gaming going to be starting things off on the red side tonight, Zathos. What kind of draft priorities are you going to be expecting between these squads?
Well, because Peachfish Gaming have got themselves on the red side, the most reason you actually want to pick this up is for the counteraction. See what the enemy champions pick, try and counteract against it. Now, because we are still going to be on, I believe it's 13.10, we're going to be in a situation where it's going to be very aggressive on these AD carries. I'd love to still see the Zaya and something like the Kaiser coming out, but most likely you can really pick whatever you want in this early game. Even a few people have been picking up Nico as well, but most likely it's just going to be one of those AD carries early on, like that Zaya or Kaiser.
Yeah, certainly. Zaya been pretty high priority in the meta these days. We've seen across all levels of play. Kaiser, of course, still very much present in the metagame as well. But there are a number of power picks right now, Zathos. So while, yes, the quote-unquote standard drafting strategy is still to lock in that AD nice and early on, there are a number of champions that can take those first few slots in the draft. They just are so high priority. A couple of junglers, the Maokai, definitely still up there. And then, of course, you have the things like the Orianna as well.
Yeah, Orianna being actually a champion has been picked up by a lot of the people at CWL because it gives you that safety in lane, gives you that damage as well mid to late game, but most importantly you have that shockwave. So if you are going to pair it with a lot of the junglers that are powerful like the Maokai, the J4 that have instant engages in, just Ori ball on top of them, have that big combo, get those first kills, and it can just give you so much pressure in this early game. So we'll have to see what champion they want to be picking up first, as the bans will be coming through of that Caitlyn and Ivan coming away from the side of Solaris Invictus, and with that Rakan as well, trying to pinch away the pool, mostly directed towards that bot side, compared to Peachfish Gaming, which have kind of banned slightly weird here, banning away that Aurelion Sol. Seems like they are going to be scared of the mid lane or of Astra Lupa, especially with a name like that. You kind of expect them to be an Aurelion Sol main.
True, yeah, it is in the name a little bit there, so a little bit of a target ban will come out. 80 carry pool still relatively open, just the Caitlyn getting banned away, and then the Senna, of course. That must mean Peachfish Gaming watched Worlds last night, huh?
Yeah, can we not talk about that as an EU fan? Everybody who didn't see that, don't watch it for your own benefit. It did not end well for us, but the reason they did ban away the Senna is, of course, because it can get paired to Tankage at the bot side. Even something like Tanky, if they do want to go something like a Cho'Gath as well. Plenty of opportunities to pick up that, as we are first going to get our picks and bans coming through. Cassante going to be picked up first from the side of Solaris Invicta. It's going to get instantly countered by the Orianna. Really feels like Peachfish Gaming have high priority on that champion. Now I would most likely like to see a jungler coming out from this team, so they can get paired up with allowing that ball to come in super early. Something like a Vi can allow this to do their job, but instead they could pick up their top laner of the Jax, which give them high priority. But whenever Nectar can get picked into it, a ton of counteractions, I'm not sure how I feel about it being the second pick.
Well, clearly Peachfish Gaming have identified Cassandra.
Sibo, I love you, by the way.
Oh
So
yeah, much love for Steve-O for sure. No, it's good to good to get that in there, Zathos.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
I needed to say, when you hover the bard in front of me, I have to give him respect. I apologize for getting in front of your point, but bard, I saw it get played by G2.
Yeah.
Next comment. Anyway, let's get back to the draft. Sorry, I'm still a bit emotional.
Moving on. Yeah, so clearly the Jacks picked into the Cassante here, presumably. So that is why they seem to be so comfortable going for the Jacks so early on. Do still need their jungle pick here. Are a number of things that they could look towards to go up against Steve-O's Maokai. Lots of different ball delivery systems that are still available. The Anivia, a persistent hover here in our first draft. I'm not quite sure what the dealio is with the Anivia, but they do seem to like hovering the iceberg.
When you have the name Peachfish Gaming, maybe Nivea is able to eat the fishes from the name, making it extra strong. That's the only idea I will be having for that. As the Edgel is going to get locked in from the side of Peachfish Gaming, give themselves a very big front-to-back team fight, it really feels like, compared to the opposite side, where it feels like Invictus Solaris want to just go in, want to find these engages, and with this Maokai and Ari in the mid lane paired up together, if they get a little bit of CC on top of you, they're just going to be able to chain you to death.
Yeah, I thought you EU guys were pretty down on Ezreal these days. Was that not right? Are we happy with the Ezreal?
It's hard because the thing that Ezreal gives you, it gives you safety, it allows your support to roam around, something that can get paired nicely with the Nautilus that you see so much in the LEC. However, you have to remember, Ezreal doesn't have the most amount of damage. Even if you give him the lead, he still needs to hit his poke, which if you are against good teams, they have plenty of ways on trying to counteract that. That's why a lot of these players don't really enjoy it. And even at Worlds, going 1 and 5 in all the times it got picked up, you can't really blame LEC teams or even here, for not really enjoying it as much.
Well, we are going to be enjoying some Ezreal in this first game. That much, at least, is true. So we'll have to see what Snackers is going to be able to get done with the pick. Hoping to see some high skill shot accuracy from the PFG marksman. We're into our second ban phase now, Zathos, and I think for Peachfish Gaming, the targeting of the marksman champions makes a whole bunch of sense.
Yeah, because of Ezreal having that long range, you want to try and make sure that you don't have somebody who can counteract it, because Ezreal may be safe in the bot side, but if you are against the Jinx or a Xayah that could stop a lot of the engage from Nautilus, or even have ways to deal extra damage on top of that, kind of makes it where that Ezreal pick isn't as useful as it would be otherwise, so having those bans away is going to be very useful, and I'm not going to be a big fan if they do pick up Ziggs on the side of Solaris. The main reason for this is you already got AP in the mid lane, AP on Maokai as well, so if you add the Ziggs into the bot side, I just feel like you're just overpowered on top of that, and it does feel like they're agreeing with me, picking up the Kai'Sa to go with the Alistar in the bot side, which is going to be a very good matchup into the Ezreal Nautilus, because if Nautilus ever dares to go in, Alistar does of course have the boot combo to make sure Kai'Sa can do a burst damage, they will be winning out on that 2v2. Luckily for Peachfish Gaming, they still can pick up their jungler, can make this bot side a little bit easier to play, and especially with a Xing Zhao in this early game, I really feel like both these teams just want to brawl, at least in the early game.
Yeah, certainly. It's pretty insane to me that Kai'Sa fell that far down through the draft, even with the marksman focus in the second ban phase there for Peachfish Gaming. It's just kind of interesting how the priorities have shifted in that bot lane. Seem to be quite a few ADC champions that are more than viable down there at the moment, which is in stark contrast, of course, to the beginning of the year, right? Where it was like Kai'Sa B1 or you insta-lose the game. Definitely doesn't seem to be the case anymore. But
And that's mostly... it's mostly just because of the nerfs coming out to Kai'Sa and Xayah, making it where they have fallen down just a tier lower, allowing Ezreal to come up, allow Aphelios, so just so many different AD carries, so even if you don't pinch the best one at the start, you can kind of get a decent pickup anywhere through the draft.
Yeah, certainly, and I do think the Kai'Sa is pretty good here. You know, you're going to be able to go in and follow up on those Ari charms. You know, you do have all of this front line that can set you up with the engage, so can look pretty good there, but I am pretty much, very much a fan, rather, of the Xin Zhao as well. We're going to go into a break pretty soon, though. We're running out of time to talk here, Zathos. I do want to get a quick prediction from you, though, before we do head into that break. Which composition are you liking a little bit better here for game number 1? Do you feel like either team has an advantage? in the draft?
Well, it's going to be hard to say because anybody in both these teams can find those big carry opportunities, especially with Maokai and Ari having a way with that combo we said before, but it's completely counteracted again with Xing Zhao and Orianna. You said a ball delivery system, Xing Zhao is perfect for that. So it's going to be hard to say, but I have to give it to Solaris and Victor. Maybe because Steve-O hovered Bard, but can you really blame a man?
Yeah, Solaris and Victa with pretty solid composition here. Lots of frontline, lots of engage, and they are the higher seed, higher up in the standings right now, coming into this matchup tonight as well. So we shall see if they're going to be able to continue their winning ways here in game number 1, or if Peachfish Gaming are going to claw that back and put themselves only 1 win away from tying that scoreline up. Don't go anywhere, guys. Cobalt Wins League Week 3. We'll be right back.